welcome back to The Energy Effect. In the last episode, we talked about TECO's missions and their conservation partnerships.
Yeah, I'm Dylan, and today we're focusing on the execution of how those plans are actually being carried out and the real impacts we're seeing around Tampa Bay. And with that being said, Bella, we're really excited to welcome back on the show.
Yes, we are so excited to welcome back Byron Burrows, the TECO Public Relations spokesperson to The Energy Effect. This week, we are going to be hearing insights into how TECO is putting efforts into place currently.
With that being said, let's introduce Byron and let's take it away for episode number 3 of the Energy Effect podcast.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I think with you guys, on community outreach and on a lot of these conservation efforts, how do you guys measure the success or the impact that these efforts or even these outreaches that you guys do? How do you guys measure that success or the impact once they're in place?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. We when we are publicly or public utility regulated by the Public Service Commission, and when we want to implement a program, we have to describe it to the Public Service Commission and have them approve it. So obviously, some harder aspects that you might imagine is how do you measure that, the success of such as so. We track say if it's a rebate program, we would track the appliances that were changed out, estimate the efficient energy savings that were achieved by those, and we will report back. I've personally been involved with the data from a perspective of greenhouse gas reductions, because that's one of the components of one of the benefits, because that's the cheapest way to reduce emissions, but greenhouse gas and traditional pollutants is to not generate the electricity, not waste it. And so we've taken the data usually in terms of megawatt hours reduced as a result of the programs, and you can convert those to dollar savings, you can convert them to emission reductions, and we'll report that back to the Public Service Commission's publicly available information to show the success of a program. That information is also used to develop models to evaluate future opportunities for energy efficiency programs, et cetera. And there's a debate on which are the best ones. People might engage in our processes and say, well, you should use something that spends more money on these programs. And we feel like we picked the one that strikes the right balance, and the Public Service Commission has agreed with us on that. And this, those kind of models to determine how much we should spend on conservation programs and energy efficiency programs are well established, and strike a right balance to where we don't, because those are all funded by customers as well.
Yeah, and I was just about to ask too, how important is measuring success in terms of, looking at where to put you guys' resources at in towards of like future projects and future operations? How important is measuring that success in terms of figuring out like where to put your resources at and what's kind of being fueled in terms of like what the future is for you guys for projects and stuff?
Yeah, it's critical to collect data, analyze the data, and properly predict. Use it to properly predict the outcome of a program. So, yeah, data collection analysis continues to be both with almost all our environmental programs. Just a quick digression that kind of emphasizes your point. We just did that living shoreline. That was we with partially funded by a grant and partially funded by Tampa Electric. It was a $250,000 project. So that one is, it's hard. You can imagine you're improving the shoreline and you're making it more resilient. So, the mechanisms for determining the success is okay during a storm. The land isn't going to erode away and that type of thing. But you also have water quality improvement. So we are collecting data as a baseline, and we're taking monthly data, and we expect to see a water quality improvement because of of all of the living shoreline initiatives, the planting and the oyster habitat establishment are all going to clean the water, improve the environment, and we want to measure and show that success because it's we want to show that return on investment. And it's the same thing with the energy efficiency. You're going to see on your bill, hopefully, when you make a change your appliance, that's inefficient into something more efficient, you'll start to see that. And in general, the evidence of that success has been that energy efficiency of appliances that you can buy on the market now have caused the electric industry in general to have sort of flatter growth. Our economy, especially in Florida, has been increasing in a pretty dramatic upward trajectory, whereas until recently, electricity usage was kind of flattened out. It was slowly rising at maybe 1% a year, as opposed to 2 or 3% we'd seen in previous years. And a lot of that's because of energy efficient appliances. People are, it's on the market and people are changing out their older inefficient things. So we see the results in a few different ways, but that data collection is a key part to showing the value of the money that we're investing.
And then one other question before I ship back over to Bella real quick. You mentioned storms. That's obviously a major factor here in the state of Florida. So how does TECO approach, hurricane incidents, and how does that affect your energy conservation efforts that you guys do?
Yeah, one of the maybe counterintuitive ways is we have to change out when storms come through, knock down power lines and take out flood, our electric distribution and transmission systems, we have to replace them. And we've been replacing with more robust things, you would hope, right? That aren't going to fall down or get knocked over. As a side effect of that effort, we're also able to put the newer technology. So now we have one example would be a self-healing effect. We're able to have automated switchgear that when power goes out in one area, the system can very quickly redirect, those areas, to a source that is not damaged and work around the damaged area, give us a chance to go out and fix it. So that we're investing a lot of money. There's a formal program in the state of Florida called the Storm Protection Program. And, it's an additional charge to everybody's bill. And you rest assured, we're using that money wisely to make electricity more reliable, more resilient, so that, you hopefully don't lose your power during a storm. But if you do, it comes back online quickly. And we also have a ambitious goal to reduce these momentary and short-term outages that, might be for, it could be a flash, or it even could be for minutes or even hours. Sometimes you might experience. We're trying, our goal is to minimize those to industry leading, levels. That's another area where we need to measure and compare with others, benchmark against other utilities to show that we're using our money wisely and our resources wisely.
All right, awesome. Dylan, you have anything else?
I don't have anything. I'll go back to you, Bella. You have anything?
Yeah, I'm just gonna ask my final three questions and then I'm
Okay.
good here. So based on our last meeting and this meeting, because I typed your responses last meeting, would you say that I'm correct in this, that some of the technologies and methods TECO's using for, energy sustainability would be switching to cleaner energy appliances, the Living Shoreline project, keeping our water clean, planting seagrasses for the manatees around the power plants, the construction of power plants, and the construction of solar?
Yes. Yeah. And solar is maybe a primary way of, providing resilience. We're heavily reliant on natural gas. We went 25 years ago, we were almost all coal, and that was the most economic fuel at the time. As natural gas prices have come down and stabilized and become predictably low, consistently low, then we're able to, that we've invested more in natural gas. That's been our emission reduction, strategy, I'll say. But solar's given us a fuel diversity play where, we can, solar, it has a capital cost to install, but there's very little operation and maintenance cost because the sun is the fuel.
Right.
So that saves, a significant amount of fuel, and fuel costs get just passed directly from Tampa Electric to customers without any markup or anything. But it still it's a substantial part of the power bill, and solar can save money in that regard. So, yeah, I just highlight solar. Those other aspects, or you know, uh, I mentioned efficiency at the power plant that you noted, and as well as the stewardship projects that kind of give back to the community and provide a little, maybe a more unique approach to sustainability and resilience for the areas that we serve.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. That was wonderful insights from Byron Burrows. Thank you so much. Today's takeaway, I would say, is that conservation and progress can coexist. TECO's story shows that sustainability isn't just an environmental goal, it's a community investment.
Absolutely, yeah, and we're excited for the next episode number 4, where we'll explore the future of what TECO is doing, a lot of things surrounding net zero, what new technology is on the horizon, and what Tampa's energy landscape is going to be looking like here in the coming years. So, with that being said, where can people find us, Bella?
Yes, we are so excited to show you guys that type of information. So stick around. As always, follow us at The Energy Effect on Instagram for updates, as well as a link to our YouTube account. And remember what we like to say here, stay green, my friends.
Perfect.